Wow, that really just like tested my patience. I really like, I'm so surprised at how enraging that just was. I'm really sorry. That was crazy. I literally went around the apartment turning off devices because I thought that maybe that would make the stream like go better. And somehow, I don't know what happened to my computer that it decided to start notifying me a bunch of stuff. I started getting a bunch of pop ups and my browser crashed, and then I went to dismiss it, and then it just everything just like went away. If you've ever seen Sex in the City, it was like the time that Carrie was using her laptop and she was writing and she was all into what she was doing, and then it just died right in front of her, and she got really mad and she took it out on Aiden. Yeah, that's what that was just now. Oh my god. Okay, but we're back, and I'm gonna get a grip. And we're gonna continue on with this live stream. Well, actually, we're gonna go ahead and start since I really didn't get to do anything. But welcome, everybody, or anybody that's here. Thank you for your patience. I really do appreciate it. I also appreciate all the support and donations, of course. Please follow me on Instagram. Today I'm gonna kind of take the night off from doing a live stream, but if anybody goes live, I'll be there. Um, and I'm gonna focus on my Instagram for a little bit because again I've been neglecting my IG page. The link show. Let me grab that copy and paste. Here you go. So anyways, yeah, so while we wait for Preach, let me go ahead and promote my IG page, and also reminder, and also make sure that your notifications are set to all. There's my Cash App for anybody who wants to donate. It is of course very greatly appreciated. Yes, Danielle Williams, we're back. I'm gonna get a grip because oh my god, that was crazy. Alright, today's date is Thursday, May 6th. I want to say yesterday's banner said like Tuesday, May 5th. Like I had the wrong date on there, my bad. That was my mistake. I should have checked it and then checked again. Alright, we got Preach here. It's cammed up, ready to go. Hey, what's up?
Man, I never showed love to your panel, so I caught you right when you went up. So I figured, what better time than now? And I gotta find your Cash App. I'm gonna hit that thing up with some
Cool.
love from the royal family. You feel me?
You already know it. I know it. You know it. Danielle knows it.
Of course, you gotta keep it in the family, man. So what we watching today?
We're gonna watch some news stories, some mostly true crime. You know, that's what I'm into. Some unsolved mystery type stories. I didn't find any like cute animal stories. I think there's one. And then I don't know if you were here with us yesterday when I covered the situation with those two guys that got arrested in Rome for stabbing a police officer.
Yep. I saw that.
Yeah, so I read an article on their verdict, but I actually have a news clip this time, so there's gonna be a little bit of that. Let's see. There's a missing woman that has an update. You know, that kind of thing. Mostly true crime.
All right, cool.
Awesome. All right. So you want to stay up?
Yeah, I'm chilling.
All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and start with the first clip. It is called Experts Explain DNA Technology That Led to Arrest of Suspected East Valley Rapist. So let's take a look at that, and that's going to be courtesy of azfamily powered by 3TV and CBS 5 dot dot dot. It's a really long name, so there it is. All right, let's push play.
Tonight, a 22-year-long search to catch a serial rapist finally ends in an arrest. We first told you about a break in the East Valley rapist case last night.
A tip and DNA finally led to a former Border Patrol agent's arrest for a spree of assaults in the East Valley and beyond. True crime reporter Brianna Whitney's live with more about these cases and where an investigation like this goes from here, Brianna?
Yeah, you know, in covering many of these cold cases, it seems more and more of them are being solved by DNA matches like this. And in this case, DNA linked this former Border Patrol.
Preach. Thank you very much. I had to just stop for a second and say salute. Thank you very much. It's very appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Let's go ahead and keep playing this video. Let me know, anybody, if anything's echoing the video, me, Preach, anything like that. It should be okay. I see Preach is using his headphones, so I don't think we should have any issues, but let me know if there is.
Patrol agent to 4 different assaults, but it's highly likely there are many more.
Everybody thinks, well, it's not going to happen to me.
Autumn of 1999 had the East Valley paralyzed in fear.
This individual is going into these homes either by unlocked doors or windows.
Mesa PD investigating a string of sexual assaults with only this sketch to try and catch the man.
We're looking for a white male in his 30s, clean cut, family type.
2 decades ago, they believed he was leading a double life, and now that appears to be true. A new lead that came into Mesa PD in February led to the DNA of 57-year-old John Daly III, a former Border Patrol agent suspected of at least 8 different sexual assaults in Arizona and known over the years as the East Valley Rapist. So far, DNA has linked him to 3 assaults in the East Valley and another in Bisbee. His victims blindfolded while he abused them.
This may just be, unfortunately, the tip of the iceberg. There's 2 things that's going to stop a sexual offender like this. It's going to be they get arrested and they go to prison, or they're going to die.
Kevin Robinson is a former assistant police chief for Phoenix PD. This case has blaring similarities to others. One specifically he remembers working around the same time, where the list of victims continued to grow.
We had an offender who was dubbed the AM rapist. He was sexually assaulting his victims after midnight, early morning hours. In this particular case with the AM rapist, he ultimately was responsible for, I think, well over a dozen sexual assaults.
Another similarity, the California case of the Golden State Killer, who was also a former law enforcement officer like John Daly. Robinson believes these suspects never expected to get caught.
The similarities you have between the Golden State Killer and this one in the East Valley is that they were law enforcement individuals. They know how to cover their tracks. Or maybe they're thinking they will not be suspected in these cases.
Now, as authorities are looking at past sexual assault cases and also looking for more victims to come forward, there are definite similarities with the East Valley rapist crimes. He would almost always go into a house through a window or an unlocked front or back door. And back in 1999 and 2000, the victims ranged in age from 21 to 41 years old. Heather, I'll send it back to you.
And Brianna, it took so long to get to this point. What went into finally matching Daly's DNA to several of these assaults?
Yeah, so a program that helped with sexual assault kits actually provided the funding, and once they got a hit on Daly's name through more investigation, they found out he was living near where all these assaults took place, and then his DNA linked him to those other crimes. But right now, he's only being charged for 3 of the crimes, all of which are in the East Valley. The Bisbee Police Department is submitting their case for charges, and those other 4 cases he's suspected of being the rapist in are pending further investigation.
I'm sure you'll.
That's crazy. Have you heard of the what is it, the Golden State Killer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was crazy too. I actually found like a short documentary that came from the news. I'm gonna try to share that soon. I did find some other documentaries and stuff that I want to look at, but that is crazy when a law enforcement gets caught doing things like that. That shit's really unnerving.
Yeah, and the psychology of police is something that people don't really look at. You know, like I said, I listen to a lot of Dick Gregory. I've said this a million times. Yeah. Dick Gregory was talking about the fact that they wear the utility belts, and they have like 2 extra clips on them.
Yeah.
And since the belt is so close to their waist, all that lead, it sometimes seeps into their bloodstream.
Oh.
And lead can make you like clinically insane.
Right.
That's why having lead in the water is so detrimental. And he likened that to like not making an excuse an excuse for police shootings, but he's saying that could be a part of it. It's like these cops that might already have inclinations or prejudices, you know what I mean, about a certain race of people that they're afraid of. If they're also going fucking crazy, you know, that could I'm sorry if you don't curse on your channel.
No, it's
but,
cool. I cuss a lot in real life.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
no worries.
So yeah, that could lead to it, amongst other things. The police also have a very high rate, which a lot of people do know, of marrying very promiscuous women. So they beat their wives a lot, and the reason why they marry promiscuous women, I think because like a lot of people think, when they were younger they weren't cool, they never really had power, so a policeman's job isn't necessarily easy to get, but it's not as hard to get as like being a lawyer or a district attorney or something. So when they get that power and they have that, you know, it's a decent salary. They're always working around criminals. A lot of criminals are hookers, you know. So a lot of cops, you know, they partake in activities like that, and they're attracted to women that are just, you know, slutty, whorish, and they marry them to make, like, turn a hoe into a housewife. Police are the biggest, you know, doers of that.
Captain
and so they end up and so they end up like beating their wives, you know, and stuff like that, or they they get tired of their wife being like that, and then they go out to work, and then they go take it out on other people, you know. So it's a lot of things with police that are like janky as fuck, you know. My personal thing is I'm biased. I feel like, you know, you should there should be certain stipulations with becoming a cop, like possibly ex-military, or possibly having to be some kind of EMT first. So like you have in your mind like people matter, like that's the main priority because you are there to protect and serve. No, so I mean, but hey, I guess it's a million reasons why I don't run the world. You know, so.
Yeah, sometimes when you know too much, everything turns like the end is nigh, like doom on, it's coming.
Yeah.
So you're saying about the lead theory then, that maybe that's why it's kind of waking up like a dormant, like aggressive personality trait in certain people? Possibly.
It's very possible.
And they're not checking for that, of course, at any time. No,
I don't think so. I know when there's a shooting, a police officer has to take a mandatory psych evaluation and a urinalysis to see, obviously, if there's any drugs in their system when the shooting happened. I mean, as soon as they shoot the person, they immediately make them take a drug test, or at least they should. And they have to take a psych evaluation every time their gun goes off in the field. They don't even have to shoot anyone. Every time, if they are running and they fall and their gun fires and hits no one, they still have to have a psych evaluation for that. So every time their gun goes off in the field. Some police departments, if you ever have to brandish your weapon at a person, you get a psych evaluation.
Right. So do you think... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so do you think that could be then possible with the one lady police officer that allegedly mistook her gun or a taser for a gun, or whatever, however it went?
That's funny because like when I was in the military, we worked with M16, so we worked with big rifles. Not necessarily handguns, because like I wasn't like military police. My basic training would have been different based on my AFSC, which is the Air Force. SC stands for something, but it just means job or occupation. So like, but carrying around all that gear on you, all right. So even through training and stuff like that, it was this really cool video that a cop did, where he was standing in his gear. He was like sitting at a small desk, and he was like, "What I don't understand is how you can mistake these two things." He stands up, and he's like, "This is your non-lethal. and this is your lethal. Oh no, it was the other way around. He was like, this is non-lethal, this is lethal.
Okay.
And he was like, they're in the same holster. You know, you unclip a button and then you pull out the weapon. So it's all in one motion. You unclip it with your thumb and pull out. He's like, so we have a designated. He's like, the only time it switches is when you are left-handed. So your strongest hand goes to the lethal, obviously, and your non-dominant hand goes to the non-lethal. He's like, but tasers and guns, way different. He's like, even if for whatever reason she switched it that day, which would be the only reason why she would reach for the lethal and it's not the non-lethal, you know, like, so he's like, he was pretty much like, that's a stupid excuse. That's like saying, that's like a baseball player going up there with his helmet in his hand like this.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't say that. I said that, but yeah. So that's like a baseball player going up there with a mitten instead of a bat. Because you damn well, I highly doubt there are any times in the field where a police officer is actually in a position where they have to brandish their weapon and they pull out the fucking taser.
Yeah. Like,
So
why don't you hear things like that happening more often then?
Yeah, like, oh, the cop accidentally pulled out the taser in the middle of a gunfight. Like, it's not gonna happen. They know, like, they know where that fucking gun is.
So what do you think really happened there? What's your theory?
I think she shot the fucking kid.
Okay. And said taser to cover her ass?
Yeah, of course. I mean, cause we're at a day and age where it's like, the racism, the hypocrisy, the prejudice, it's evident. For me, when Tamir Rice died, that was the line for me. Okay. I probably watched that video of that kid playing with that toy gun until that police officer rolled up like 100 times. Like, it bothered me.
I don't
He's
think
12
I'm
years
with
old.
That case.
12 years old. Like,
damn.
And Dick Gregory even spoke about it. He spoke about all the shootings, but this one in particular, he spoke about it a lot. He has spoke about it for about an hour. And he's like, we did the research. He was like, if you look at that gazebo and you look at the height of the camera and the video footage, he's like, the angle's way too high up for it to have been on a building or something like that. So where the hell was that footage coming from?
Right.
He's in the middle of a fucking park. You know what I mean? And it's not crystal clear quality, but it's pretty damn good quality. You know, so, and the way the police officer rolled up on Tamir, he didn't even stop the police car. He just jumped out and shot him like he was his op. You know, like, so it's getting to a point where the world is kind of like frowning upon it now, because the whole world is at home and they're watching everything. And what I'm thinking is happening is the people who are running shit, their kids have black friends. And they have trans friends and friends that go by different pronouns and all this stuff. So the younger generations are more tolerant. Not only that, they're getting a better idea of who people actually are instead of who media shows what people are and how they act and what they do and how they behave. So they're going back home and they're telling, and their racist parents are making these comments and shit, and these kids are putting the shit in the parents' face like, look, this could be me.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? At what point do you disassociate and dehumanize an entire race so much to where a grown man who's sworn to protect and serve can murder the children of this society in cold blood? Like, at what point do you say, damn, that's fucked up? You know what I mean? At what point do you say, damn, what if we were in a society where the roles were reversed?
Right.
And I had to beg and plead with my government for black police officers to stop killing my children. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what it is. Like, you got to put yourself in people's shoes sometimes. Like, just understanding things doesn't just automatically justify it. Just because I have friends in the LGBTQIA plus community,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just because I have a better grasp on who they are as people, that doesn't mean I agree with everything that community stands for or agrees with. You know what I mean? It just means I have a better perspective on it. So when the shit hits the fan, you know, I still look at them as people.
Yeah.
Instead of you know, their sexual preference, you know. So I don't know. Law enforcement, it's a lot of corruption there. You know, I got to the point where if I see police and black person in the video, I don't even watch it. I'm like, nah, I can't. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. And so I don't know. I guess we're getting to a point where you know, people are starting to look at black people as people. And you know, and I honestly think they're trying to piss off the black community with this whole Asian hate thing. It's I compare it to like the favorite child thing in the family.
The
like,
golden child.
Yeah, it's like the golden child. That's racist because we're talking about Asians.
The movie. See, I got that one. It didn't go over.
It's like the white kids are like the actual children of the parent, and then like
or the eldest or the baby.
Yeah, every other race is just foster kids, step kids. You know what I mean? And black people are like. Black people, everybody else is in the house, but black people are like the poor kid that comes over and always asks for food. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I think what they did with the Asian thing is like they make up this Asian hate thing as if black people are just going around beating them up for coronavirus. Like, black people don't even respect the mask law most of the time. Mm-hmm. But we're that politically charged that we're harming them because we think they brought corona over, when it was a group of white Republicans that stormed the White House. Right. We're an endangerment to it. So it's almost like, not only do we not give a fuck about our police officers murdering the children in your communities, hey, also we feel like Asians are more we feel like what's that word? We feel like Asians are more eligible for breaking bread with because their people have been wronged by your people. So we're gonna completely ignore what the fuck is happening to black people. We're not even gonna touch a conversation about reparations because fuck y'all. We never wanted you to stop being slaves anyway, nigga. Oh. And you're just here. And we're going to try to eliminate you or overlook you. Not only that, we're going to use you as a scapegoat to say that we can provide the Asian community with funds. Didn't they say they were giving like Asian families like what is it, 500 million or something like that? They were going to give Asian families and communities because of this Asian hate thing?
I have no idea. I haven't heard.
A lot of people haven't heard about it. But they're talking about breaking bread with the Asian community because of this whole Asian hate thing. And that shit only lasted like a month before they said they were going to start paying Asian families and communities for the Asian hate. Mm-hmm. So what does that do to a black person's mind? Like, wait. We're currently, you know, we just protest for a trial, right, where a man was killed by suffocation by a police officer. Yeah. And then you flip it and make black people the victim towards a race who, we're not going to say they didn't go through what we went through, because they when Pearl Harbor happened, we put them in our own little version of internment camps.
Mm-hmm.
We called it internment camps. The Nazis called it concentration camps.
Yeah.
So yeah, we held Asian families, and the reason why we did that because it was war. It was like, we don't know if y'all are infiltrating us. We don't know if you're on their side. We don't know if that was a preemptive strike, and then y'all go in the streets and start murdering people, or you got like guns under your house. So we locked them up in internment camps. See, a lot of people don't know history. You know, a lot of people don't know history, and so, you know, so fucked up shit happened to the Chinese and Asian community in America. Yes, it did, but for that shit to unfold that way, and then they involved money. They know how black people feel about money. They think somebody owed them. You know what I mean? Like, let's just keep it real. Like, they've been studying black people for a long time. Like, they know what makes us tick. They're trying to piss off the black community. That's what they're trying to do. They want us to start some shit because they're ready to kill all of us. All these little white boys that shoot up the school and all this shit, bruh. These white folks got guns on top of guns on top of guns. People in the hood think they got guns. But you know what's funny? The hood is not going to be the ones fighting them. That real white boy. That real white boy is in the suburbs somewhere.
With or out in the woods.
Or out in the woods.
With cabins,
you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, bunkers and shit. So
what
do you think? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so what do you think then, like, when the news is, like, constantly, maybe, like, there's 1 or 2 surveillance videos a day coming out about, like, Asian, like, crimes against Asians and things like that. Do you think that's just maybe been going on this entire time, and now it's just convenient to start picking up on it? Are they, like, nitpicking certain stories to maybe manipulate, public opinion? What do you think is really the reason for a lot of the news stories that we see today having to do with that?
Okay, Dick Gregory said something real cool one time. He was like, it's good and bad that everything's on camera now, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the camera that's on me, that shit was $19.99 on Amazon. You see the quality of it, right?
Yeah.
If somebody came in here and shot me, it would be in very, very decent quality, right? You wouldn't question what happened. These videos that I was watching on Asian hate, they look a little old. And you could argue, oh, that's because they're outside or it's nighttime, da-da-da-da. Even with video, I don't trust it. That could have been years ago. Like you said, I think a lot of that shit is just a compilation. I feel like they put it together and then they put it out and was like, this is an issue. You know, media, if they say it's an issue, it's a fucking issue.
Yeah.
And also, what people might not realize is going on is Asian activists are now listening to rappers' music and saying that they're being racist in their lyrics. They did it to was it Megan Thee Stallion? They did it with Megan Thee Stallion because she said, "My eyes so low like Ching Chong" or some shit like that.
Okay.
And they made a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
So they're poking at us. You know, like they're like, not only do we not give a shit about your people dying, but we're gonna make you the victim so we can pander to another race and pay them money.
Mm-hmm.
When the conversation of reparations has been had since the day they took the chains off. I'm pretty sure the first black people, when they took them fucking chains off, they said, "What? I'm what?" Mm-hmm. Okay, so who gonna pay me for all this work? That had to be one of the first fucking questions that we had when they let us go. Okay, so me, my mama, my grandmama, my granddad, we've been working for y'all for a minute.
Mm-hmm. We've
We've been working overtime. So it's just like, you think you're just gonna let people go after? Like, I'm pretty sure the day before they let those last slaves go, they were still watching babies get ripped out of women's stomachs and shit, and niggas getting pulled apart by horses and shit. I mean, up until the day they let us, because you know motherfuckers be bitter, and you know how nasty a fucking evil person can be. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, the information's coming down the pipeline. They bitter, letting motherfuckers go. You know how many slaves they probably killed? Like, I'd rather you die than be free type shit. You know, so
True.
I'm pretty sure one of the questions was like, where the fuck is our money? And then when they found a word for it, it was like, it's called reparations. Well, that's what we need. The Jewish community ain't had no problem getting it. It took a while, but even the Asian families that were in internment camps, they did a little something for them, but it wasn't much. And then now they're not having a problem getting it. We're the only race that are having an issue.
You have a cat?
Yeah.
I hear.
I have 2 cats.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. We're the only race that they're having an issue with making things right with. And one of the major reasons why is because they can justify in their brains why we don't deserve shit. They're saying, the black race, we don't gotta do shit for them. Fuck them. We never care. We're never going to care unless we absolutely have to give a fuck. Fuck them. That's what the government says to us every day that goes on where they don't acknowledge that all of those lost wages, because they're literally lost wages. Like, every day they don't acknowledge. They're just like, fuck them. And then, like, the icing on the cake is, we're gonna pander to this other race and we're gonna pay them money for shit that you did to them. Black people hate Asians. Black people are treating them like shit. So not only are you not the victim, you're the problem. We're making you the problem. All around the world, we're putting Asian hate. Black people are attacking Asians. Right after the Chauvin trial. See, this shit doesn't happen by accident. At least they waited till the trial was over. They weren't that disrespectful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Still disrespectful, but not that disrespectful. But as soon as the trial's over, Asian hate. And we're gonna pay their community a set amount of money because of it. So, you know, I really think they hope that a large number of us just jump out the window, get mad, and be like, well, the world don't give a fuck about black people, so fuck them. We're gonna go out, you know, with a bang. And then as soon as we start acting like we're gonna get up and do something, they're gonna be ready. Because they never wanted us free in the first place. That wasn't part of the plan. It was not part of the plan. And then as soon as that plan didn't work, then eliminating black people became the plan. That's why in 2021, black people can get hung in certain states. Nobody gets caught. Black kids can die in school, in the gym, and get rolled up in gym mats.
Right.
Nobody knows what's going on.
And end up with no organs stuffed with newspaper.
And then news comes out that one of the kids involved has a parent that's an FBI agent. And then people stop talking about it even more. You would think that would make you look into it further. But no. He's black with dreadlocks. We really don't give a fuck about him.
That's sad. It shouldn't be that way.
All I do is look at it. I do what everybody else does. I look at it.
So what do you think it's going to take to turn things around?
One thing
Too late?
One thing I learned about like life and from the military mostly, I learned a lot of lessons from the military, and one of them is war. It never changes. War never changes. It's an old quote, but it's short and sweet. War never changes. So once black people became we're all enemies of the state pretty much at this point. We're all enemies of the state. And with war, it's always best to fight an enemy that's tired, hungry, or injured. So if we're on drugs, if we're stupid, if we're broke, and if the world thinks we're pieces of shit, we're much easier to eliminate. That's why when we die, they act like fuck it. Because the world has a certain view of the American black person. Bucket of chicken, couple baby mamas,
Aggressive
drug dealer,
music.
ex-convict, rapper, or someone who listens to rap music. And if the nigga do get some money, he gonna fuck it off in the strip club. He gonna buy a big ass chain.
And drugs, alcohol, hookers, Grand Theft Auto lifestyle.
Right. So the world, our government sees us as expendable. And some parts of the world see black people as expendable. And if you notice, a lot of other races, their nuclear family is built on a lot of like honor. Don't dishonor my family. Don't do something to dishonor us. Now, a lot of kids go off the beaten path, but those types of dynamics makes it so that even if a kid from a space like that goes off the beaten path, they still finish college. They still, get the certain credentials to land a job with security. Because at the end of the day, there were certain things instilled in them that maybe they might not agree with their parents 100%, but they do start to understand the concept that you have to have something and nobody's going to give anything to you. So you have to build something. Your bills come first. You know what I mean? Your future matters. It's not just tomorrow or next week. It's 30, 40, 50 years from now. You have to have money when you're in a wheelchair because there might not be anyone there that cares about you. So you got to pay a nurse or something like that or have some kind of insurance. And then if you compare that to a young black male with no male figure, his mom's feeding him fucking hot Cheetos and fucking everybody in the neighborhood. The only person he has to look up to is probably a nigga that's fucking his mama that got all the money. So he link up with this nigga so he could have some money and some bitches and some clothes and some cars. The nigga's fucked. That kid is fucked. That kid in that situation is fucked. He's fucked. From the gate, he's fucked. And there's nothing he can do about it. The only thing he can do about it is hopefully read enough books and get wise enough before either the nigga that he's running underneath decides that he's expendable, goes to jail for the rest of his life, or the cops catch him on a bad day. Or in the small chance, he sees the shit for what it is. He's like, fuck all this, and finds a way to get the fuck away and out and gone. You see what I'm saying? And I say it ad nauseum. We got hit with the crack epidemic, and before that, we had our own communities, Black Wall Street, and all this shit. And I don't care how many times people say, "Oh, well, that don't mean nothing." It does. It means a lot. It means a lot. When you cut off a family structure, and then the children are just left in the wild, just like any other baby in the wild, a predator is going to eat it. Except in the human race, it's not always eat and death. It's not always that fast. Sometimes it's a sexual predator that fucks up the kid's wiring. Somebody molests you before you even understand what you like. So now you have a trauma that's attached to sex. If that overtakes you, you could possibly become criminally insane. And if you're criminally insane in that way, chances are the crime you're going to commit is going to be sexual. So now you meet a chick, you have suppressed emotions, rage. She got kids because the last nigga left and the one before that left after they got her pregnant. They ain't shit. So he runs into this chick. Oh, she got kids. Perfect for me, right? Hurt people hurt people. Now the 13-year-old daughter's telling the mom, and the mom's thinking she's jealous because she's like, oh, this is the only nigga that loved me in 5 years. Everybody else left. He don't love you. He love your daughter. Because he's fucked. See, I think about shit like this. It's all about the family dynamic. And they systematically picked our family dynamic apart.
By making it like a 0-parent home, because now,
right.
I mean, it's both the mom and the dad that are working, and they're too tired at the end of the day to do any real parenting, and that's
too tired. No. See, you're
whatever it is.
Too tired.
I'm not a parent,
even around.
So I don't even know, because I'm not a parent. I'm not interested in that.
No. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about making them too busy. Eliminating them completely. Like not being in the child's life, gone. I never met my father.
Like
I've never seen him face to face.
I've never met my mom or my real dad. Actually,
right.
I have met my real dad, but I don't know who my real mom is.
It happens. It happens to people. You see what I'm saying? And the system for young black men, like I don't know if it's, I know it's like this in third world countries because like money's real low and people do anything to survive, like in Brazil and South America. I mean, these kids is toting guns as early as 5-6 years old, and they're not just toting guns; they're using them.
Yeah,
they're carrying out hits.
That's
on
like the
motherfuckers.
Cartels too in Mexico. It's the same thing.
Right. It's like that. It's like that in the black community. Except the Bronx isn't a third world country.
Yeah.
But those situations happen. It's like we've been picked apart, and I don't think that the poverty was meant to spread to the white community, but it did. Because black people aren't just some race, and quite honestly, I got some Native American. I might have some white in my blood. I don't know. I gotta do my genealogy test.
Do you trust those tests?
You know what? I want to trust them. I want to try. That's why I haven't done it yet. I'm like, man, it's gonna come back. They're gonna tell me I'm German or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
you're Russian.
Yeah, I'm Russian. You know, and from fucking Athens, Greece, huh?
Oh.
I don't know, man. I want to trust. I could see if it was like $20, $30, $40. That shit like $200. Like,
right.
You know, I want to know for sure. Like, I did my research. I went on YouTube and, you know, watched different people's results. I mean, I guess I watched enough of them to feel okay. It seems like 23andMe is probably one of the best ones. You know, but I don't know. I just watch my community. I watch other communities. And I'm not saying it's only black people that this happens to, because obviously, like you say, you're an example. It had, you know, the single parent household or no parents being around, that happened to you as well. And now I don't know your story, but I'm guessing, your next role model other than your mother wasn't a drug dealer.
No.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you're privileged for that, because that's not what that means. What I'm saying is, it's just that young black men are on the lowest of the totem pole as far as priorities in this country. And when I say young black men, I have to stop at like age 25 or 26. I would like to refer to a young black man as like 18, 19, but it's really like 25, 26, because they're underdeveloped. They're underdeveloped. Trauma stops your growth. Drugs and alcohol stop your growth. Anxiety, depression, all of those things stop growth. And because they're young and they're black and they're males for the most part, I can tell you firsthand, I have held in more emotions in my life than I've expressed. Some people's like, oh, duh, you don't want to show everybody your true colors. No. When a lot of people go home, they break down and cry. I probably broke down and cried one time in my life.
I've done it.
Right. Young black men are trained to not show weakness, because there's an automatic switch that goes off in our head. As soon as we show weakness, we're automatically going to be seen as weak. And weakness is not something that you want to show in the type of environment that young black men are around. Weakness make you a bitch. It make you a hoe ass nigga. A simp, unmanly. You know what I mean? As soon as you show something other than aggression, you're less of a man.
Right.
And for a young man, that's his worst fear. For his peers to feel as though he's yet less of a man. In the hood, you'll get your ass beat faster for being not tough than you would for being tough. Because if you're tough, nobody wants to fuck with the tough guy. But the weak guy, there's a pecking order. So the weak guy is going to get picked on until he either fights back, or everybody's like, oh, he a bitch ass nigga. He ain't even worth the time. Or they just beat the shit out you just to prove a point, to get some clout. So it's not really a lot of wiggle room with young black men. You have one option if you're in the hood. Be aggressive as possible every time somebody tries you. Be as violent as possible every time somebody tests you. Because it's a prison, it's a prison culture mentality. That it's niggas that come home from prison, they get the respect. They went and did something in the streets. They didn't snitch. Right? They're about 10, 15, came home, and then motherfuckers look to them, so they're like, XYZ, you can't act like this, you can't be like this. When I was in there, and nigga fuck me, nigga cut his whole face, bomb, you know. They bring a mentality, an institutionalized mentality to the free world. And say, this is how I'm going to train my niggas, because we need to be the most ruthless so we can get the respect. So nobody fucks with us. Not thinking about the psychology that if you're constantly doing things so that people stop fucking with you, isn't that really fear?
Yeah.
So you're really just scared of someone fucking with you. So you overcompensate. You're overly aggressive. So people leave you alone. That's your main goal, for people to leave you alone. For people to give you respect.
Because what would a confident person do? They would probably use their words and try to work things out in a way, try to find some kind of copacetic outcome.
Yeah. But there's no conflict resolution
for that.
when a drug deal goes bad and everybody got guns on them. There's no conflict resolution when a nigga is talking about your shoes and everybody else is laughing and the girl you thought you had a chance with is laughing too. There's no conflict resolution when someone is shitting on your character, on your manhood. There's no conflict resolution, especially at a young age. There's no conflict resolution when you're in the streets. All you know is the streets. You in the streets all day, every day. Whether or not you make money is based on whether or not people respect and fear you. There's no conflict resolution when you're that type of person and somebody steps on your shoes in the club. Only you know that motherfucker stepped on your shoes in the moment. But if you go back around your niggas and them shoes you just bought and they see that it's scuffed, what they gonna do? Nigga, oh, fucked up ass shoes. Nigga, what happened, nigga?
Oh.
And then you gotta tell them, I was such and such and the nigga stepped on my shit. Oh, you probably did. Nah, I just walked away. Oh, you bitch ass nigga.
Oh. That's wild.
That's how it is. That's literally how it is. And so when I say things like certain people will never understand the plight of black people. A lot of people don't understand what that word means. Plight. The plight of black people. Exactly the feeling of what it's like to be in those situations. Some people avoid embarrassment. Some people have never really fully embraced embarrassment. I felt it. A lot of other people have felt it in life. But there's a different kind of embarrassment when it's not just funny, it's all happening in real time. You're the butt of the joke. Not only that, it's followed with aggression. Like, not only am I embarrassing you, but you're less of a man. You're a bitch. Because of this, everyone sees it. At that point, it's fight or flight. It's at that point, I fight for my respect as a man. I do the most violent thing in this moment to this person who is making this claim that I'm less of a man for whatever reason. Or I walk away and now my peers see me as that. My peers see me as what this person is projecting upon me. And the fucked up thing is, that person is probably projecting those things onto that other person because when they go home, they don't have no food to eat. Their mama cussing them out. They dad not around. So they come into society and they find someone who could be subject to that. They point them out and they poke and they poke and they poke and they poke. Sometimes the quiet kid fight back. Sometimes the quiet kid don't fight back. But that's usually how the scenario goes. Nowadays, you know, kids are doing stuff like they're buying, you know, the kid that don't got a lot, they're buying them shoes and stuff. That's dope. Shit like that is dope. It's getting a little better. It's getting a little better. But the drugs and the guns, we need to cool out on that shit. Like, black people don't need no drugs and no guns to get shit done in this world. We don't need that. We think we need it. Because when it comes to drugs, black people ain't even on the top of that. But you always on the money phone. You always the plug. You always that nigga. Like, I highly doubt when these niggas go re-up, they know where it's coming from. And if they do, and they don't move perfectly in line with how shit goes, because they're on that type of level of crime, every single move they make is critical. Because they could die for it. Some of the realest niggas don't rap. Why would you want your face in the camera all the time? With a whole bunch of goofy ass niggas that's gonna do something stupid. So we don't need guns and drugs to succeed. But that's all we had for a minute. It's the fastest way. Fastest way.
It's so profitable right now. Everybody's, yeah, I don't know. This shit's crazy. I wish there was some kind of solution that we could offer everybody, but I honestly sometimes feel like, personally, my thing is like personal, because, you know, not knowing my parents and stuff like that, they weren't involved in my life, so I've always kind of had a chip on my shoulder because of that. I just kind of feel like I look around and everybody else just was born with more than I was, and everybody else got more patience than I did, and then I turn around and look at everybody else's home life, and it's really hard for me to say, like, oh, I would be in this family or that family, because everybody's dealing with shit.
Yeah,
Everybody.
and I've had people. My bad. Did I cut you off?
No, go for it.
I've had people in my life. I was about to put out somebody's business. My bad. But I have a friend.
That works.
I have a friend.
Allegedly.
I have an alleged friend, educational purposes. Whose dad wasn't in his life, but he knows him. He's a few states away. His mom raised him. His mom raised him damn well.
Okay.
And he told me, he said, bro, I think he got off the phone with his dad while we was playing video games doing something. And he looked at me, he said, bro, he was like, sometimes I wish I never met my dad.
Wow.
He was like, I know it sucks, but in some cases, you know, maybe it's better that you didn't meet yours. And for a split second, I took it as disrespect, because that's how we're wired. Like, oh, you talking crazy.
Shit about my dad. My
Like,
giver.
like you talking shit, I ain't never meet him. That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave it a second, and I was like, oh, I get it. Would I rather know him as a complete piece of shit that constantly lets me down?
Right.
Or not at all?
And that's why I don't want to try to reach out and find my real mom, because what if it turns out she's one of them ladies that's going to be like, well, I gave you away because I didn't want you around. Like, what are you doing here? I don't know her. I wouldn't know what kind of energy I would meet from that. And that's why I'm curious, too, about, like, those genealogy tests, because I'm like, well, I could at least find out something about my DNA if I can't ask my parents or my grandparents for the information. There's got to be another way. But I know there's a lot of privacy issues when it comes to that, and other concerns.
Yeah, I know you looked into a lot of crime and family stuff.
Yeah.
There are stipulations there. If the parent says, I want no contact with this child, I don't want this child to contact me, I just want this child to have
Their own
these
life.
people, because these people are better than me. So I guess in that way, it's hard to tell somebody that, because I know from experience, you don't just tell somebody that their parents probably made a good decision based on where their life was, you know. So I'm not going to tell you that, because I know how it feels to just want to see that person. But the older I get, I look at myself and I'm like, my bad habits, I'm like, damn, what if my father was on crack with my bad habits?
Right.
I drank for 10 years before realizing it was destroying the inside of my body. I was fully aware it was destroying the inside of my body.
Of course.
But I said, fuck it. And then I was like, well, if my dad thinks any type of way that I think, he said, fuck it too.
Right.
And if it was a harder substance, he could have OD'd XYZ. So the older I get, it doesn't get easier, but I see it in a clearer view. The older I get, because there's been times when I was younger where I was like, if this girl had this baby, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Right.
I don't have no kids, but I've had close calls. I've had some close calls. And so it's almost like I appreciate the nigga for not burdening me with his presence. Because I think about it, like, if he would have popped up and when I was at a very impressionable age and just said fuck it again, it would have fucked me up. Like, and then instead of, you know, me learning to like try to get a grasp on it, I'd have been mad. Like, I'd have just been mad all over. It would have restarted the trauma.
Yeah.
It would have added a new trauma. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a lot of shit that and you said we should be more solution based.
Oriented,
I agree.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree. And with a situation that big that affects so many people, there's not one answer. I would say institutions that rehabilitate certain traumas. Find out where the leaks are. Stop the biggest ones. Now the problem when you stop a big leak, the smaller leaks are more pressurized, just like anything else. So it might ramp up somewhere else when you stop the bleeding somewhere else. So I would say first things first, we need to understand we don't need the drugs and the guns to succeed, to get anything done. The drugs and the guns, we don't need them. We don't.
Yeah.
If we can start moving into a space where we believe we don't need the drugs and the guns, I think that'll be a major, that'll jumpstart something major. Because once you take the drugs and the guns out of the equation, you do a few things. You stop making it so easy for us to kill each other. You stop making it so easy for a police officer to justify shooting you. Every single police officer video you've ever seen with a black person,
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't have a gun, they scream gun.
Yeah.
And God forbid they have a gun, they're dead. If you're running and you have a gun, you're dead. If you're black, you're dead. You're not going to live. If you want to commit suicide, drive around with your tail light out. Wait, have your gun on you.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for a cop to pull you over. Put him on a short chase. Jump out the car. Start running as to where he can see the gun. You will get your death. You will get your death. Guaranteed. Any state, any city. If it's in America, you will get what you're looking for. So if you want to commit suicide, you're too scared to do it yourself, it's called death by cop. If you're black, get you it don't even have to be a real gun. Go buy a BB gun.
Or a cell phone.
Yeah. Get a cell phone, get a big ass cell phone with a big black case on it.
Mm-hmm.
Big black case. And start running with it. He's gonna scream gun. He's gonna scream put the gun down. And if you don't immediately fall to the floor, he's gonna say it must be a gun. Shoot him 15 times. You're gonna die. So if you got a death wish, run from the police with something in your hand that's black. That could be a gun. You're gonna die. And so we gotta start eliminating the gun and the drug culture. We gotta stop allowing people to attach that to us. This drugs and this gun shit. We gotta set more examples where we aren't walking around with drugs and guns. That's why every panel I get on, I'm like, I'm not a thug, I'm not a gangster, I'm a civilian. I can sit here and tell you stories all day about being in the hood. Niggas I know that get into shit. I stay far away from shit. I know niggas because of where I live, but I get away from it. A lot of them respect that. Some of them could give a shit, but a lot of them respect it. And the funny thing is, a lot of them respect it are the ones that when I would come back around the way to the barbershop or the corner store or whatever, and I got on my motherfucking button-down shirt, sometimes a tie on, they're like, "Oh, preach, what job you got now?" I was always getting fired from a job. I was getting fired. Hey, where you work at now? I always had a new job, but I always had a job.
Yeah.
You know? And it was brief moments where I was like,
Is
hey,
your
babe.
cat texting you?
No, my cat, when my girl comes home, my cat loses his shit.
Oh, okay. I thought he was texting you over there.
Yeah, I know. He's trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's him. Let me see if it's John.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe promoting like responsible baby making for starters, because trying to take guns away from people is gonna start a problem.
No. Oh, no. I'm not saying go run and take away guns. No. I'm saying black people themselves.
Stop buying them, or what?
Right. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, go for it. Alright, so Preach put himself on mute. How's everyone doing? I see Observing Stuff is chatting. Thank you so much for being here. And Emmanuel Briggs. If you're still here, thank you so much for joining us. And Spirit Force, it is so good to see you. I think this is the first live you've come of mine. I'm really happy that you're here. If you want to jump up on the panel too, just let me know and I'll drop the link. Go for it.
But yeah, that's a real good point you made. Being responsible about kids.
Yeah.
Kids skip school a lot.
I did.
Yeah.
I never went to junior high or high school. I only showed up for like choir, gym, lunch. I think I liked English class. That's about it.
Yeah. I had old school. I was raised by my aunt, so I had old school parents. She was old when I was young. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So going to school, that was something that I came home when the street lights came on. XYZ. You know, I ain't have no dad in my life, but I had some kind of structure. Mm-hmm. I was scared to have a kid because I was told since I could fucking piss by myself standing up. Mm-hmm. If you bring a baby in here, we're turning your ass around. Period.
Yeah.
It ain't no, oh, it's a baby. We're gonna do this and that. My peoples was like, no, we ain't got no soft heart for that. You wanna act like a man, you a man. So you want to act like a fucking grown adult? Be responsible like a grown adult. We don't give a fuck. If you 15, nigga, find a job, nigga. So that was instilled in my head. And also, I've always been real scared of STDs. In the 5th grade, I was traumatized when they showed me those herpes pictures on the screen.
Yeah.
So even if kids out there, even if you don't like school, go. When you hear that they got the elective for the special sex education class,
take it.
Go. Take that shit.
Yeah.
Take it. Because I was in the
permission slip and just go. Don't even tell your parents.
Right. Because I was in class with some girls that I kind of thought was cute. Mm-hmm. Man, I looked at them completely different after that shit.
You thought you were ready?
Nah, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Not at all.
I was afraid of giving birth because after seeing that video, I was like,
Right. Yeah. It's not all baby bump.
No. It ain't 15 and pregnant with what's her name? I forgot. Kristen Dunst, I think. Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah, not at all. So yeah, if you don't want to take no other classes, go to sexual education.
Yeah.
It'll change. You know, so. That's a class you don't want to skip. And but even then I had slip ups. So but I made it to 29 without no kids. So and that allowed me. What was that?
Go ahead. No, but I have it in my head. Oh, well, I was going to say, do you, because I saw a report, I don't know if you want to believe it or not, like sometimes you got to question statistics and stuff like that, but from what I understand that like the birth rate has dropped 4%. Do you think that is maybe because of like genetics? Do you think it's like a mental decision that's happening? Maybe like a new paradigm is forming where people are just not, or being more careful maybe about like having kids and stuff like that? If it's true that the birth rate is going down?
I think it is.
Okay.
I watch more vlogs than I care to admit about about really young people talking about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I could drop some names. I watch Ab and Preach. I watch. It's funny. His name is my name.
Yeah, I never heard of them.
Yeah, Ab and Preach. They're two homies. At first, they wanted to hire one another to do separate roles in the vlogging thing, and then then the other one was like, you know what, I talk my shit too, so we could just talk our shit together, and they were like, all right, and they blew up.
Yeah.
Ab and Preach, yeah, they're really fucking funny. Then you got Fresh and Fit, these niggas from Miami. These niggas, I don't know what to think of these niggas, but they're Kevin Samuels type thinking dudes.
Oh, okay.
And they have at least 5 or 6 girls on their panel every night, and they go live. And they talk about relationships. They talk about the fact that young, beautiful women only chase the top 1% of men, and what their expectations are, and all kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I think that the birth rates are going down because it's rude to tell a woman that has children she ain't shit because she has children. You see what I'm saying? That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And she's undesirable, and no one wants her. No one's ever
Right.
going to marry her. Like, you're
That's
a shit.
not true.
You're a shitty person. Like,
And that's
for
not
real.
even true.
Right. It's not true, and you're saying it because she's the girl in high school that turned you down. That's why you're doing that, because you got a job and you have a little bit of money and you don't have as much responsibility as her. So now you're in a position where you can shit on her. So you shit on her. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be walking around fucking exacting rage onto people because you didn't get what you wanted as a kid. Nigga, grow a pair of nuts. Accept where you are in this world and just be appreciative that you're getting pussy now. Don't reach back and kick someone. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I think that the young women and the young men are starting to understand how finances work when it comes to children, and how much a responsibility children are, instead of just, oh, da-da-da-da, bust off in this shit. Or da-da-da-da-da, telling niggas the nut in you and shit. That shit ain't cute.
No.
It's not cute. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, and I think, is welfare harder to get now? I wouldn't know, but maybe like you have some insight on that. Maybe that's another reason why people aren't wanting to have kids.
Man, I live in the hood. It ain't nothing for a nigga to get WIC,
Oh yeah.
Okay. EBT cards, Social Security. It ain't nothing for motherfucker that's trying to eat to get some shit benefits. Like that. Their government assistance been rolling in. You got generations of motherfuckers tricking the system. So, but there may be. I don't know if you want to switch from this topic, but I guess you could pull it up. We could look. We could check.
What is it?
If you want to check about what's going on with welfare,
or
government assistance, I don't know. I'm just saying that you asked, so I thought maybe you heard something.
Oh no. I was just thinking, because like even me, I found myself in hard times and I couldn't get housing or anything because I was technically working, even though how much I was
you made
making,
5 cents an hour and you don't have 5 children.
Yeah, I couldn't get benefits, but somebody that just got here that's not even a citizen or whatever gets every benefit thrown at them. So that's why I was kind of wondering if that's just down here, or if that's happening like elsewhere.
The way that works, I know how it works now. I mean, I knew how it worked because my sister, she's very family oriented. So she would always tell me about her income tax check. She has children. She would always tell me about her income tax check. I'm like, God damn, it's a, hold on, give me 1 second.
Go for it. If you want preach, I'm gonna go ahead and play a clip and just let it play because I gotta do something real quick too. Is that cool?
You good? Go ahead.
All right, so we can continue the conversation here in a second, but let me go ahead and just announce what clip we're looking at. It's called Unsolved: The Death of Pamela Norton Wilson, and that's going to be courtesy of First Coast News, and this is a cold case that they're trying to bring attention to. It's a little over 5 minutes, so I'll just go ahead and let it play, and I can hear it, so I'll know what's going on, okay? I'm going to go ahead and mute myself too. Thanks. And that's going to be after this clip. 1 second. My buttons changed really fast. Hang on. Am I doing this right? I think I'll just go back. Hang on. I'm going to push play. And go back. And
sometimes getting the answer to one question can open the door to so many more. For a decade, the Nassau County Sheriff's Office didn't know the identity of bones that were found in the Deep Creek Hunting Club.
That's right, and then a DNA match answered that question. It was the bones of Pamela Norton Wilson. But then came more questions. How did she die? Was she murdered? Katie Jeffries looks back at the case in tonight's Unsolved.
Any detective will tell you that in a missing persons investigation, time is critical, which is why Pamela Norton Wilson's children were so frustrated that they could not get their mother listed as missing for years, even though they knew something had happened to her. April 11th, 2009, two turkey hunters were walking through the quiet, desolate woods of the Deep Creek Hunting Club in Briceville when they found something human, a skull and leg bone lying on the ground. The Nassau County Sheriff's Office took the bones, but no DNA matches came back. They then tried to do a facial reconstruction sketch and released it to local news, but no leads came in. As time ticked on, the case went cold, waiting for a break that would come a decade later.
What is a life worth? My mother's life was a human being, and she didn't deserve what she got.
Donald Ferreira and his sister Amanda Driggers made the decision in 2019 to submit their DNA to NamUs, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. It was their last-ditch effort to try and find their mother, and it turned out to be the decision that broke a cold case wide open.
And I got the call. It was very shocking and surreal.
On the other end of the line was Detective Mark Murdoch with the Nassau County Sheriff's Office, telling Donald bones found in 2009 matched the DNA he and his sister had submitted. The remains were their mother, Pamela Norton Wilson, but she hadn't been seen since 1999. Pamela Wilson lived a complicated life. She was a mother to her two children, Donald and Amanda, but she also struggled with addiction.
In these moments where she was clear, she was a great mom. You know, she was really thoughtful and did all the things that moms would do.
He and Amanda remembers her warm hugs and kind nature, but Donald also remembers one of the last conversations they had when Pamela told him she was going to stop using. But later that day, he watched her gather up a bag of her things and get into a red van.
And I just remember her looking back and saying, "I'm sorry." And she got in, and that was the last time I ever saw her.
Shortly after that, Pamela was arrested on drug charges and taken to the jail in downtown Jacksonville. Her mother paid a bondsman to bail her out and gave an extra $100 for Pamela to be put into a cab and sent to their home on the west side, but she never arrived home. Pamela's mother tried to report her daughter as missing with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, but because Pamela missed her court dates, she was listed as a fugitive, not as missing.
So that kind of kicked her out of the system for any possibility of having any samples or anything sent to NamUs, because one of their restrictions is they have to be listed as missing.
Leaving Detective Murdoch at square one 2 decades later.
You know, most cold cases you have a little bit more information, I feel. There's a little bit more evidence. And now we're looking at something 20 years later where key players are deceased themselves.
The biggest question, how did Pamela die? The medical examiner's report does note blunt force trauma on the right side of her skull, which created a fracture, but it doesn't list a specific cause of death.
Was she murdered? Was it a malicious act, or was it, unfortunate accident where she overdosed and somebody disposed of the body? So that we don't know.
He is hoping that those who knew Pamela in 1999 can shed some light on who she was spending time with and where she might have gone after leaving jail. DNA has helped Pamela's children find their mother's remains, but they and Detective Murdoch need help from the public to answer what happened to her.
So long, time has gone by. Maybe it's not a big deal anymore, but it is still a big deal. It's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for my brother. It's a big deal for my children who never knew their grandma. She was loved. She has a family. She's not what you think.
Detective Murdoch would like to speak to anyone who may have known Pamela in 1999 and known where she would have gone after she left jail or how her body ended up at the Deer Creek Hunting Club. You can contact him at the Nassau County Sheriff's Office. Katie Jeffries, first.
That story was crazy. What did you think about that?
You said her body ended up at a hunting club?
I think that's what I heard. It's
rape, murder.
Do you think the cops were involved? And I'll tell you why I ask.
Go ahead.
Okay, because there's another case, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's actually something I'm working on for the future, but when I went to try to cover it, the main source that I was going to use for information disappeared on me, so now I got to go find the information, like, freestyle. But it's a case of Mitrice Richardson, and with her, she was arrested. She was let go in the middle of the night. Her mom had communicated with the sheriff's office and said, if you're going to keep her overnight, just keep her there. I'll pick her up in the morning. But if you're going to let her go right now, let me know so I can go get her. And she literally said, because I don't want her to turn up with her head chopped off or something like that. Like, she already had like a feeling. So then they let her go. She didn't have like her car key, she didn't have her car, they impounded it, she didn't have her wallet, she didn't have a cell phone, she had no means of communication like to the outside world. According to them, she didn't want to stay in the office, she voluntarily took off walking, and she ended up on some like real obscure wood trail, and then her body wasn't found until like 9 months later or something like that. And then the sheriff's office in that situation lied about a surveillance video of her in the sheriff's office, which once they did find it and released it, it didn't really show anything unless it was of course tampered with. But one of my theories was always that after Mitrice Richardson left the the police station for being arrested, that perhaps a cop followed her, offered her a ride home or something, and then that's where shit went bad.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying about police officers. They're whoremongers.
Mm-hmm.
They're whoremongers. A cop, like I said, who probably became a cop in pursuit of power. Power that person probably has never had. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You pull up on a hooker, right? Like you're routinely just I don't know, asking her questions or whatever. Bitch, get in the cop car. I'm the police. You're gonna do what I want for free. Now, that's rape at that point. It doesn't matter if she's a hooker or not.
Mitrice wasn't a prostitute, but he probably
I'm
treated
just
her
saying.
like one. Oh.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he probably treated her like one.
Right. Because they're just used to pushing their weight around, especially when it comes to women, because it's your word versus the cops. So a lot of the times in rape cases, if the person is murdered, it's because the woman was like, fuck you, I'm gonna tell somebody, da, da, da. Or they were just like, oh fuck, she struggled while I was trying to force myself on her. It's either like usually like a choking to shut them up, or they put something over their face, or they pick something up and hit them with it just to knock them out cold, and it goes too far. You know what I mean? And now you gotta hide the body. You know.
And then they all have each other like
You
covering
gonna get
each
on
other
camera
up.
with me?
Hi. You getting a lap dance over there?
No, it's not a lap dance. I just gotta move a little bit.
I
I gotta get a bigger
watching.
couch.
I'm just kidding.
I gotta get a bigger couch.
Hey, the small confined areas can be romantic.
Yes. I gotta get a bigger couch.
That's cool. So, what were you saying? You want to continue?
Give me you say. Well, babe, what you think? We were looking at this story about this woman, and she was telling me about how this chick it was like an unsolved murder. She was at the police station. Somebody called in for her because she didn't have any communication, and then she ended up walking out of the police station, and you said she ended up on the trail by herself.
Yeah, that's allegedly the story.
And then she died. So yeah, it's unsolved.
There's some other aspects to the case too that were really weird.
Yeah, and so no, I was just saying like how that could happen, like how police think, like they just throw their weight around. Me and her, we've been watching a lot of Law and Order SVU.
I love that show. Have y'all been watching the new one with Stabler?
Actually, no, she's never seen them. So, we're on season 2 right now. I think like episode 3.
Oh damn! You guys are like whale school, right? Like 90s.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Ice-T just came into the show.
Oh, okay.
So that's how early we are into the show. Yeah, but so yeah, like with police, like when they do shit like that, they're like, oh fuck, I went too far. This person's not moving, and then they're like, oh, I need to cover it up. Wait, I'm a cop. I have connections, and I know what evidence not to leave, and all kind of shit like that. And so I think when you got a whole police department behind you, they can plant evidence to make it look like something else.
Yeah.
They can destroy evidence. So like, I don't know, that's just some dirty ass shit.
That's true.
That's super dirty.
I mean, cops are every day proving that they can't be trusted.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Now, most of the cool cops I've met were ex-military. I'm not even gonna lie. Like all the cops I met that didn't act like cops were ex-military. Almost all of them.
Because they were disciplined.
Yep. They had a different mentality. Because in the military, it's like, we join to protect the freedoms of Americans. We join to protect the freedoms of Americans. And so when we come home, if we get a job in that field, like what's better than a police? You gotta protect and serve. You know what I mean? So it's a different mentality. They don't look at Americans like enemy. They look at Americans like people that they swore to protect. Because the oath in the army, not in the army, the oath in the military in general is like you swear to protect against enemies, foreign and domestic. So yes, that does mean enemies on our land, on our soil. It does mean that, but it doesn't. The wording doesn't make you feel like, oh, Americans are the enemy. It's like, no, we're if you're American, that's what we're fighting for, the freedoms of the Americans. So they're less likely to come home and have like some kind of prejudice. Like the military is different. Like in the police force, you can have a concentration of a certain type of people, and they have a certain way of thinking. So when they go out into the field, into the community, they treat a certain people a certain way. In the military, all that racist shit, they don't play that shit.
No,
They
because
don't
you're
play that
supposed to be a
racist.
brotherhood, right?
Right. Yeah. Like, it's family. Like, I've met people from all around the world. Like, that racist shit, that was one of the first things they said. They was like, listen, very clearly to us. They were like, if we hear any racial slurs, there's going to be a serious fucking issue. Like, they don't play with race at all. I don't think they have that same type of culture in the police force.
But what
I
about
really don't.
What about PTSD?
Well, PTSD is trauma. Not okay. Not everyone that was in the military gets PTSD, and not everyone that has seen combat has PTSD, because not everyone that is in combat gets traumatized. Trauma does something to your brain and the way you live your life moving forward, because it shocks your system and it scares the shit out of you at the same time. So if you're walking on the trail, you and your buddies, y'all chopping it up, making jokes, and then the next thing you know, you hear a loud explosion and your boy's legs are over there and his top half is over there. Nothing that you've done in your entire life prepares you for that. Nothing. I don't care how many movies you watch, video games you play, nothing prepares you for that. So it shocks you, and it automatically makes you think about your own fate. So that's trauma. And trauma happens to anyone who goes through a fucked up experience like that. It's usually in a very violent experience that usually involves someone dying or being seriously harmed. That's where the trauma comes from. And so in that case, if you get out with that, say, if you like develop a paranoia and an anxiety. Anxiety is the catalyst of it, because you forever walk around feeling as though that if at any given moment you will hear another loud explosion and somebody else is going to be dead.
So someone like that shouldn't be qualified, or at least require testing and rehabilitation, perhaps?
A rehabilitation, most definitely. But like I said, not everyone develops PTSD. Not everyone gets traumatized by events like that. Some people are just have the mental fortitude to they might be walking in a squad, but they might be the one guy that already in his brain, even though it's never happened to him, he knows where he is, he knows what he signed up for, and he's like, damn, at any given moment, either all of us could die, or one of us could die, or some of us could die, or be seriously harmed. And he is like, and even that dude is like, fuck, I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, he's gonna be scared. He's gonna shit on himself or piss on himself.
Right.
At the very least, So there's just different mentalities, and unless you've been diagnosed with a mental issue, there's no way to gauge how a person is going to deal with certain situations. Maybe they can now, but we don't go through any tests that try to determine that. You're 18. And you wanted to sign up, so you're in the military. If you're 17, you can get your parents to sign off for it.
Uh-huh.
So you can technically join at 17 if you graduate high school and if your parents sign up for it. Because technically you're still a child and all that good stuff.
Right.
So So yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you.
And not everyone gets psychologically evaluated when they leave. I didn't.
Mhm.
I didn't. But at the same time, I didn't see combat.
Oh,
So
okay.
they probably didn't find it necessary. I did speak to a chaplain.
What's that?
A chaplain is a person in the military. Open another tab, go to Google, and just put in chaplain.
Let me see.
I want people to see the insignia that a chaplain has. CHAPLAN. Or is it LAIN or something?
Well, I'll show you what I got. Hold on. Let me find the right thing. Share.
Yeah, a chaplain.
Uh-huh.
A member of the clergy. Put in Air Force after it. Put in Air Force.
Okay.
Click on the
The top one?
No. Click on where it says "Did you mean?" Because Google wants you to spell shit correctly, so it'll give you better results. Click on images. I want people to see the insignia. It's like a little clover. Where is it? If you look at the uniform, the insignia is going to be on the hat or it's going to be on the chest. See if you can click on this one. The one with him and his wife. The lady in the purple shirt.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Is she wearing a red shirt?
Yeah, that one. See if you see the little insignia on his hat. I don't know if you could blow up that image.
Let me see. I think I might have to go.
It's on his hat and it's in the middle right here. That's a little Velcro patch.
Let me see. Hold on a second. Share screen. And then this?
Yeah. Oh, he's a full bird colonel as well. But he's also a chaplain. Okay, so the way the rank works, it goes from Airman Basic all the way to 5-star General. He's a full bird colonel. So he is an enlisted officer. That means he wears the shiny jewelry. But he's also a chaplain. So you see how I got a cross right there next to him where your little pointer is? That's what my chaplain looked like, actually. Go down where he's standing in the church.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Let me show
So
you.
chaplains are pretty much a religious military person. Well, not religious, but they're what is that term in Judaism? The guys that know everything.
Rabbis?
Rabbis. Rabbis are jacks of all trades. They study many religions. They study many different psychologies. They're the civilian versions of chaplains. So chaplains are there for our spiritual support. So if you are a certain religion, you can go to your chaplain. If you're like, oh my God, I'm in the military, the Bible says do not kill. And they'll give you some cognitive dissonance mumbo jumbo so you can justify the shit in your brain. After you run into a foreign country, a house of someone in a foreign country, and, people die. You come back, you talk to the chaplain, blah, blah, blah.
That's wild.
There are Muslims in the military as well. There are a lot more in the Air Force. The Air Force is a lot more tolerant of a lot of things. So chaplains, they're there for... I spoke to one of those guys before I left. He just wanted to know where my head was at. He was like, so how do you feel about getting discharged? And I was like, I spoke to my family and they said, fuck y'all. So I'm good.
And what he said?
It sucks. But I know I'm going back home to people that's not going to shit on me because I fucking got kicked out of this white man's military.
I see. And what did he say to that?
He was like, that's good. He was like, most people come in here and they fucking cry, fucking nose snotty. And he was like, they blame us and they tell us they hate us and all this stuff, and I was like, it ain't nothing to hate. Y'all on a certain type of vibe. I'm not on that. I'm an individual, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to go back home. Go kick it with my dukes. Find me a job, and that's what I did. The first week I got home, I got a job at Apple. I'm like, I should have been did this. I should have got the job at Apple at 18.
Right.
But because of what I went to the military for, it made my resume look pretty damn good. So that's why I got the job at Apple.
That's true. I can see that.
Yeah, man. Chapel. Now the real dope people aren't the chaplains. They're the damn. What are their names? They're called fuck. There's another specialty. Specialty. And I cannot remember. They're like mentors. And you have to they're called look up Air Force Diamond Insignia. So delete chaplain and put an Air Force Diamond Insignia. That is a Master Sergeant. What is? Let me see. The diamond is. I forget what the fuck the diamond is called. I forget what the fuck the diamond is for. You have to be a Master Sergeant to get the diamond. But once you get the diamond, you're a special type of Master Sergeant.
Is it this one? It says Airman, and then it says Airman First Class, and then...
Oh, no. The diamond, it means something special. If you go... First Sergeant. Okay, no. The diamond's not just for Master Sergeant. Okay, so if you have the diamond, then you're a First Sergeant.
Oh.
I believe it means you're a First Sergeant. I really forget. I think it's First Sergeant, because you see how all the ones with the diamond say First Sergeant? First Sergeant. Okay, so First Sergeants are like mentors. One of my First Sergeants ripped up some disciplinary paperwork that would have gave me like, that would have fucked me over. He like ripped that shit up, and he was like, "Dude, just go back to the barracks." He was like, "Just go back." He was like, "You got fucked up one night. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like, you got drunk. Just chill." And he ripped up the paperwork. You're not supposed to do shit like that, but he did it. He was fucking dope. His name was Master Sergeant Bienvenu. Cool as hell. He walked past my hospital bed when I had the fucking IV in me because they were drawing my blood the night before I drank 2 bottles of Absolute vodka. Yeah, he was there for that, and he was like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
That's crazy. I would have died.
Yeah. So they're First Sergeants, and so they're really dope. They're cool. They're usually really fucking cool people. They're like mentors, and they're there for the younger airmen. Not in a weird way, but just like, but in like if you like really got some like personal shit that's not religious or anything like that, you could call them, and they'll like be there to talk to you. They're really fucking dope.
That's really cool. Are you gonna be around later tonight? Cause I'm gonna go live later on tonight. Probably like, I don't know what time you're in. I'm in Central, so I'm probably like around 8 or 9, and then I'll probably.
What time is it where you are now?
Right now it's 5:16.
Oh, okay.
3 hours more or less.
All right. I mean, I'll probably see the notification. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll also drop the link in the chat, so if you just go in there, I usually do that too, and then that way we can continue watching. Like we have like 26 more clips to go, so we could probably do that later.
All right. I'm about to figure out what I'm gonna eat.
Same, and I kind of wanted to go for a run too, because I had an interesting week, and I need to sweat out some of these negly vibes. These negative, nasty vibes that happen.
I get it.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I will be back later. So if anybody's in the chat, just check your notifications, and, you know, we'll be back. Sound good? All right, cool. Thank you so much for joining.
No problem.
All right, I'll see you soon.
All right.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live for now. Like I said, I have some clips still to show you, but I'm gonna come back later tonight. I just need to go get some food and also go for a run and just check on my dogs and things like that. I also gotta feed the cats outside and things like that. So I'm guessing maybe in about 3.5 hours, I hope to see you all back here. All right, so have a really good rest of the day. If I don't see you later on today, I will see you soon. So thank you very much, everyone. Bye.